Welcome back to the Georgia Show. We have a lot to go through today. Bill, thanks for joining me.
You bet. You bet. Good to be here and good to be here on a Sunday afternoon, ready to rock and
Yeah,
roll.
we've taken a kind of a week off. The team was exhausted, and we're glad to be back in the game. We were down in D.C. for joining the Pentagon Press Corps, which was fantastic, and a lot more news to come. Also, we have a new sponsor. Avello Airlines contacted us and literally said, "You guys are the only." How did they put it? They said, "You're the most honest journalists we know, and you're supporting what we're trying to do across the Eastern Seaboard, and we want to work with you." So you're going to see a lot more about Avello Airlines going forward. But what do we got on the show today, Bill?
Well, we're going to talk about stuff that mostly is around Georgia. And in past weeks, we've been kind of putting one foot in the national camp and one foot in Georgia. Today is going to be almost all about Georgia. We reported on a very concerning story earlier in the week. We're going to cover that in some level of depth. We're going to check in with Hank Sullivan, who is in the middle of his, or in the beginning, I guess, of his campaign for county commissioner in Forsyth County, and the gyrations just continue to spiral up. And I think you've got a very interesting story from Georgia as well to cover, yes?
Yes, Mr. Kluge, who had his business stolen, which we understand is a rash of theft in hotel parking lots and other places across the state in the recent year or so. I'm not sure he's going to join us today, Bill, but what I do have is a short clip from the Pentagon where they lit the Christmas tree, which was the first ever Christmas tree lighting at the Pentagon by Pete Hegseth. So we'll play that at the end if we need time to fill.
Great, great. Shall we kick off with
Yeah,
one of our sponsors?
sure. Why not? So the wellness company. I travel a lot. It's been a crazy few weeks, and I'm telling you, this baby has saved my life many, many times. The emergency medical kit from the wellness company. And let me just bring up their banner so you have the data. twc.health/CDM. Promo code CDM will get you 10% off across the board at the wellness company. They have really re-engineered healthcare, and they've got all kind of nutraceuticals, supplements. This one is the testosterone supplement. Not sure why they sent that to me, but they did send me a copy. But as opposed to the shots, which can cause real side effects for people, that one it's called Mars, and it's natural testosterone support. So you can check that out. All kind of other memberships where you can go in and get the doctor's visits, the free pharmaceuticals, the free nutraceuticals, the weight loss, the parasite cleanses, all of it. So check out the wellness company, twc.health/CDM, promo code CDM. You get 10% off, and it's still not too late for Christmas. This would fit great in a stocking. This is the ultimate spike detox. And if you got a family member or a good friend who took the vaccine and maybe has autoimmune issues, that kind of stuff, this will clean the blood of the spike protein, which has many negative effects that we just don't even know the long-term ramifications yet. So back to you, Bill.
Well, perhaps one of the reasons they send it to you is they know that you are hanging around the Pentagon these days. And of course, Pete Hegseth has put in place certain requirements. So maybe they're going to have you guys be dropping and giving you 20 in the morning before you get to the press conferences.
Maybe
Better to be prepared. So there you
better
go.
be ready. You're right. And by the way, we'll talk about that more later in the show, but that was a fascinating time at the Pentagon. We'll be down there often as part of the Pentagon Press Corps.
That's great. All right. So to kick us off this morning, we're going to talk about a story that we published in the Georgia Record during the week. And it has to do with the question of, can an attorney act on behalf and be employed by the state of Georgia while also defending criminal defendants against the state of Georgia? That would seem to be a viable and logical question. Is that possible? So let's dive in, and we're going to take you right through the article that we published. You'll recall in the past, we've often reported on stories that have a fair amount of depth, fair amount of detail to them. This is one of those. And so we're going to try to make sure that you have all the knowledge of the receipts, where to go to confirm these things, and read it more in depth for yourself as we go forward. So let's take a look here. So This is the front cover of the Georgia Record. It's got the actual show that we're in at the moment on the top of it now. But this was the article that we published on Thursday of this week. And the question is, why would an attorney working for the state of Georgia also be defending criminal defendants against the state of Georgia? Now, many people will recall that we've spoken of Josh McCoon on a number of occasions. And the pictures behind Josh's LinkedIn profile title are on the left. That's the Technical College System of Georgia headquarters. And on the right, that is the Muskogee County State Court building, the building in which the state court is housed, we are told. And so as we go through this, you're going to understand why both those pictures are there. You'll notice that Mr. McCoon on his LinkedIn profile describes himself as general counsel at the Technical College System of Georgia. All right, so that's one role that he holds. He also is a licensed attorney in the state of Georgia, and the State Bar of Georgia confirms this. You can simply go to the State Bar's website. You look up, you do the member directory, type in his name, and up comes his confirmation that he is a member of the State Bar of Georgia. This will become notable later in our discussion. And again, here is his LinkedIn profile, Copper. When you look up the role that he has, you can use something called govsalaries.com, and it will allow you to understand what his role is, and also, very frankly, what he gets paid. And they report that his salary currently with the Technical College System of Georgia is $208,000 and change. Pretty good gig, sounds like. It also describes that salary as 318% higher than the average within the Technical College System of Georgia, and 500% higher than the median salary in that organization. What does that mean? Well, of course, he is general counsel, and that's a pretty high position. So it just confirms that indeed this is a meaningful position within that organization. Like most organizations, the Technical College System of Georgia, we're going to begin abbreviating it as TCSG, has certain policies and standards and rules and regulations that they ask employees of the organization to comply with. And there's a number, and again, you can go online and look for these for yourself. One particular one is policy 4.3.2, ethics and standards of conduct for employees. And you'll note that within this, it calls out that employees must avoid even the appearance of impropriety or conflict of interest. Remember those words, conflict of interest. They're going to come up a number of times in our discussion. So they command employees essentially to comply with all their policies, but this happens to be one key one that speaks to conflict of interest. It is notable that normally the legal department in many organizations would be the one to evaluate whether employees were indeed compliant with the company's policies or the organization policies. So we find that kind of interesting. What came up this past week, and we actually had learned of it going back nearly a month ago. We had, and again, we have to give credit to the very good people across Georgia who are watching us as we do our shows, and they go off and they do their own research and then come forward with data that helps us understand where some issues may in fact lie. And that's what happened here. We got contact from individuals across Georgia, and they said, we found something kind of unusual, and we wanted to make sure you knew of it and have the chance to actually research it and determine, is it right? Is there something more here that we need to understand? What they found was that, as we've seen, Mr. McCoon is an employee of the Technical College System of Georgia. He holds a position as general counsel. That is a full-time position according to the documentation. And one of the other sections of their policy manual defines what full-time employment is supposed to mean. These folks came forward and they said, we see that apparently Mr. McCune is acting as defense counsel in certain criminal cases in Muskogee County, Georgia, which is over near Columbus, as many will remember. And so we got the data. We didn't take it at face value. We began to do research. And in the course of a little over a month, we've had contact directly to the state court of Muskogee County, to officials there, and folks who were able to help us uncover certain documents and also discuss what they were seeing in their own systems with the Georgia record. What you're looking at is a criminal case, the state of Georgia versus Dennis D., and we've abbreviated his last name for privacy reasons. It's the defendants in these cases are not the focus of what we're trying to bring forward, and in the interest of doing the right thing, we thought it was appropriate to mask the defendant's last name. However, if you look at the red circles, you can see that this case has been around for actually quite some time. The original charges were filed back in 2019, yet they didn't go away and they didn't appear to have been dealt with in the normal course of action within a court system. The case was finally closed in April of this year. So literally a 6-year-old case. That in and of itself is actually quite interesting because this was a DUI essentially, and I believe there was a couple other charges tagged along with it, possession of an open container. And that's pretty typical for a DUI charge in lots and lots of cases, from what I am told by those who are expert at this. What was interesting, though, is it hung around for 6 years and was finally closed and is now in what's known as dead docket status. But it was not dealt with in the time since it was filed in 2019. If you go down to the other red circle, it lists the defense counsel for the defendant as Joshua R. McCune. And indeed, that is Josh McCune, according to the state bar member directory that we showed you a few minutes ago. Okay, so here's one case. It's got some unusual things here. One is, why would a DUI case, and DUI cases, again, I am told by those who are more expert at this than I am, that these are typically, 1 hearing, 2 hearing, maybe 3 hearing, in perhaps a trial cases. The trial typically takes hours, not days or weeks. And this is over in the cases, either the defendant is found guilty or not guilty, and the case is concluded at some point. Having one of these hang around for 6 years is unusual, to what I'm told. So here's one case. Well, a little bit more work, and you can see that these are all the things that happened with this case. It was originally charged back in 19, and look at all the times that the court continued or moved this case to another date. It appeared that about every 2 or 3 months, they would move it forward again another couple of months. Throughout this, though, and up until this case was deemed dead docketed, Josh McCune is still indicated as defense counsel in the case. Okay, let's go to another one. Here's another example they brought forward. This is, again, another, I believe it's another DUI. And this one has an additional charge of failure to obey signs and so forth. This one, again, was originally charged back in 2016, nearly 9 years ago, and again was closed on April 10th of this year, of 2025. And we again took out the last name of the defendant in the interest of proper communication. And again, the defense counsel for that plaintiff is indicated most recently as Joshua R. McCune. Okay. Here's the list of extensions for that case. And again, we see this same situation where it was extended again and again and again. This looks like this may only be a partial a partial list of these extensions or continuances, I believe is probably the most accurate term to use. Why were these cases extended or continued so many times? We don't know that. And unfortunately, it's difficult to find that out because many of the actual documents are tied up in the court filings. We may be able to go back and get more detail as time permits. But based on what we found, we thought this was concerning enough. Here's example 3, and this is different. Those 2 cases had been dead docketed, meaning they were placed in dead docket status. They will no longer be scheduled, according to what I'm told, for trial or for hearings every couple of months. They're considered a dead docket case. Here's one that isn't. An additional example is currently active, according to what we were told by officials within the Muskogee state court system. And it is, again, it references defense counsel being manned by Joshua McCoon. And while we could not be allowed to release much information to the public, the case number is should be a public record matter. And so we've listed that for those who want to make sure that there is indeed its case out there. So this is different. This is still active. This is not dead docketed as the last that we were told. What has happened in these last few days? Well, we don't know yet, and we're going to continue to ask for information from Muskogee County regarding the status of this case. All right. We also checked Google, just as another touch point, and indeed, Google lists an address for an office for Joshua McCoon in Columbus, Georgia, which is Muskogee County, and lists a phone number and lists a time of opening and so forth. This was a check done on Wednesday evening prior to the production of the article we referenced, and it showed that it indicated that the office would be open the following day. Is that correct? Again, we don't know, but it's what Google is reporting. So why is this all so interesting? Why is it important? Is there an issue here? Well, we don't know, but there could be. And the reason is, just like the college, technical college system of Georgia, TCSG, the Georgia bar itself has rules of professional conduct that define what actions attorneys are and are not supposed to take. One of the areas that the rules of professional conduct speaks to is conflict of interest. And they go through a lot of legal language, as you would expect. But anybody that's employed an attorney may remember that if you approach an attorney and wish to be represented, one of the first things that most attorneys will do is ask you questions about yourself, about the case or the matter that you wish them to become involved with. And they'll do a check to make sure that they do not have conflicts of interest that need to be addressed or avoided. So is it a conflict of interest for an attorney to work for the state while also defending criminal defendants against the state? The answer, we believe, is potentially. And we went out and we looked at a number of articles written by bar associations, by attorney firms and other things. And we congealed this, third-party set of statements in this way. So in most cases, they will treat and indicate that, yes, it is a conflict of interest for an attorney to work for a state agency while also acting as defense counsel for criminal defendants, especially if the cases are related because of the direct opposition between the two roles. So that indicates that there could be maybe an issue here. We don't know, and we're not attorneys, and we're not going to judge this. We also asked Grok, because Grok is turning out to be, on a day in and day out basis, a pretty good source for looking at these things. And once again, Grok reports that, yes, it is generally considered a conflict of interest for the same attorney to simultaneously work for the state as a prosecutor, assistant attorney general, or any government attorney representing the state's interest, and privately defend criminal defendants in cases where the state is the opposing party. And it goes on to explain the reasons that Grok is citing for this to be a significant potential conflict of interest. So if you'll go to the article on the Georgia Record, you'll be able to actually read this and go through what it has to say about the matter. There's also the question of, gosh, these cases are awfully old. And I noticed that somebody online, probably without, perhaps without doing much background research, seemed to indicate, well, this isn't really an issue because these cases are so old. Well, they were started apparently in past years. But again, we'll call your attention to the fact that they were still active cases up until two that we gave examples of were moved to dead docket status. And there is another that we were told as late as last week is still active. And so these are not cases that were old and were dealt with some years ago. These were still alive this year. And so that in and of itself is quite interesting. There is a term known as diligence that the rules of professional conduct speaks to. And it says a lawyer shall act with reasonable diligence and promptness in representing a client. Reasonable diligence, as used in this rule, means that an attorney shall not, without just cause, to the detriment of the client, in effect, willfully abandon or willfully disregard a legal matter entrusted to the lawyer. That generally means, my interpretation, that if you're an attorney named in a particular matter, then you're beholden to do this, fulfill this obligation of diligence while that matter is active. And again, these cases that we gave examples of were active. Two of them were active earlier in the year, and one is still active, we are told now. So where does all of this leave us? Well, there are obviously significant questions. We haven't even gotten into the question of Josh McCoon being the current, some call him a chairman, some call him the CEO of the Georgia Republican Party, Inc. But indeed, even within those rules and procedures, there are statements that have to do with the obligation and need to maintain a professional ethical code of conduct, especially when you're in a leadership capacity, we would assume. So while we didn't go into that in this article, it is nonetheless something that we think people need to be cognizant of. And as more is developed from what we've found, that may come into play. We don't know. We don't know at this stage. But the rest is open for others to investigate and confirm. The article includes online links to the documents and so forth where we could make those available. And as we stated at the bottom, one, we are not and should not be inferred as making any claim of wrongful wrongdoing by any party. That's not our job. That is the job of authorities that are appropriate to a circumstance and appropriate jurisdiction to a circumstance. However, when we find facts that we believe are important for the public to know, we do believe it's our job to bring them forward, and that's what we're doing. So, Todd, you've been pretty quiet. Do you have questions?
Oh, sorry, my phone is blowing up, man. I mean, if people could see what's going on in the background with you and me, Bill, the amount of information coming in. I just want to give kudos to you for your team and your network putting this together. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal.
All the credit goes to the folks out there, because over and over and over again, we have been able to bring this stuff forward not because of things that we find on our own, but often because we're nudged in the proper direction and then given some help. So.
And that kind of decentralized investigative work is really good because, you can't stop it really. So it's fantastic.
Indeed.
All right, why don't we just pay some bills here? We'll be right back after this break.
I'm David Cross, and you may know me from my election integrity work, but I also own U.S. Asset Management, a family-owned and operated investment advisory practice. I'm a certified portfolio manager, and my job is to help you make better decisions with your money. One of the things we try to avoid is investing in companies that push the woke agenda. If you're invested with one of the big firms out there, there's a pretty good chance that you're feeding the beast that hates your values. Our company is 100% conservative, and we'd love to have an opportunity to work with you. Check us out at us-am.com and look for our big, proud American Eagle logo.
The wait is finally over. My towels are back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. Towels that actually work. What a concept. And that's not all. Check out our My Pillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, now only $29.88. And how about our limited edition premium My Pillows, made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset, made exclusively for you to thank you for all your support. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for $39.98, My Pillow bed sheets only $29.88, and our limited edition My Pillow Queens $17.98 and Kings only $19.98. Quantities won't last long, so order now.
So let me just say, for mypillow.com, use promo code CDM. Christmas is right around the corner. It's not too late to get that perfect gift. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code CDM for the best discounts, and you can find something for that someone who has everything, whether it's a pillow for the guy's dog, or a bathrobe, or slippers, or bedding, or clothing, or just take a look at what Mike has on the site. It's fantastic. And also David Cross. If you've got a financial issue, many of us, it's tax selling season. There's a lot of questions many people have in these markets about what's going on. Give David a call. Just establish a relationship. We've had great feedback. us-am.com, usassetmanagement.com. And last but not least, Avelo Airlines. We don't have the creatives yet, but we will be loading them up soon. This airline is based out of Texas, but they're all along the East Coast, and the prices are phenomenal. And it's not like some other airlines where you have, fighting in the aisles and all that kind of stuff on the low costers. They have a very well-run, comfortable, quick, efficient system, and I've flown it probably a dozen times in the last month, and it's fantastic, I have to say, and it's my new fave. So check out Avelo Airlines. We'll have more on that as we go forward. Back to you, Bill.
That's wonderful. So in just about everybody will remember, in past months and past years, we have spoken of Georgia as something of an epicenter for problems that you see around the country. And once again, this week, we were reminded just how troubling some of the dynamics in Georgia can be. I was lucky enough to be invited to an event with David Clemens and others, sponsored by the Truth Seekers over in Cherokee County. One of the things that came up was some things that some of the speakers had found in their various counties. And while we won't go into those details at the moment, we are going to hear about a fight that's going on in Forsyth County now that Hank Sullivan has announced that he is running for county commission. And boy, the bad guys are coming out of the woodwork. So let me welcome in Hank. Whoops. Hank, you there?
Hank's a spinning circle.
Okay. Well, goodness.
He'll come back.
Yeah, he'll be back in just a minute. We'll add him as soon as he rejoins. But it again underscores, when we normally see something bad going on and you call it out, how many times have we seen elected officials, legislators, both senators and House members, look the other way and be silent about the issue, whatever the issue may be? And that we've seen that again and again and again. Now, when we have someone standing up and calling out the troubles, here he is. Let's bring him on in. Now, when we have someone standing up and calling out the troubles, what happens? Well, all of a sudden, unnamed people seem to be jumping in the fray. So, with that as an intro, thanks for being here, Mr. Sullivan. It is a pleasure to have you, and we thought this would be a great time for a catch up as to what is going on with you in Forsyth County.
Well, hey, how y'all doing? And oh, I'm going away again.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Okay.
we can hear you.
All right. All right. Well, I hope I stay with you long enough to get this done. But if not, I'll go to another source of internet. But at any rate, one of the great things when you're a challenger is when you've made enough inroads into the campaign of the incumbent that all of a sudden they are getting nervous. They're getting very, very nervous, because if they weren't nervous, they would never answer you in the first place. So we know that there's a certain nervous feelings out there among the Kerry Hill campaign. I'm calling it this week the Kerry Hill Death Star campaign, because we all know what happened to the Death Star in Star Wars. Well, last week I wrote a Substack in which I criticized the manner in which our Forsyth County Commission is dealing with the intense amount of development that's been going on in this county. I think some people say this county for the past several years has been the fastest growing county in America, or the state of Georgia anyway, but it's been growing fast. And with that is you can't keep up with infrastructure and building traffic. And so everybody, well, the locals here are largely up in arms about all of the new the new population moving in. And I'm a builder. I've been a builder for 40 years, and so I decided to take a look at how these developments are being done. And I was really appalled. I have a little small plane. I was flying over the backside, the north side of Forsyth of Stony Mountain last week, and I came across this big scar in the land. And I looked down. It was a development. One of these national companies had built a development and scarred the side of Shawnee Mountain. Can you still see me?
Yes.
Are we still good? Okay.
Yes,
we're
good.
It scarred the side of Shawnee Mountain. And I was appalled at that. I mean, I live on the south side of the mountain, and this is on the north side of the mountain. And so I decided to when I got down, I decided to drive over there and see what was going on. And so these major developers have taught our county commissions that the way that you should go about developing subdivisions is to clear cut everything virtually from border to border inside of a development. And once you've done that, then you can mass grade the property in there. Well, they do that because they want to build slab houses, and they want to be able to control the elevation such that they can go in and then just lay it out, build it out from one end to the other, and go as fast as they possibly can to make as much money as they possibly can. I don't begrudge anyone making money, but I do begrudge clear-cut subdivisions, because it didn't used to be this way. Subdivisions back in the day, back when I was building in them, you would have a developer, and the developer would go in and they would leave trees. The best lots in the subdivision are the ones that were heavily wooded, and they charged a premium for those. And so there's another way to go about this. And I criticized our county commissioners for allowing these clear-cut subdivisions. And so this week, the things I said in that article were anonymously they were used to anonymously disinform the Forsyth County population. And so whereas I said the tree arborist, the county arborist, needs to be fired for not doing his job in saving these trees, they turned around and say, well, I claim the Forsyth County arborist needs to be fired so that they can take more trees down. So the whole thing,
which is like exactly the opposite of what the point you're making.
Exactly. So, and that's the way that whole thing goes. And so I had a little bit of fun with this anonymous attack artist that goes by the name of Forsyth Homeowners, and so it makes me kind of wonder. Okay, I put my name on everything that I do, but I'm being attacked by the Kerry Hill campaign by people who refuse to put their names under what they write. And I understand why that is because, whoever Forsyth Homeowners is, whether it's a he or she or they, there's somebody's neighbor in this county. And what neighbor in the county, who wants their neighbors to know they're such abject liars and disinformation artists? That they don't want to know that. And so I had a little bit of fun with Forsyth Homeowners this week, and we engaged a little debate. And I will give him, her, or they credit for taking on me in this this debate on their turf. So you can. I have the link in my new Substack that's coming out tonight at 6:30, and so you can go there and you can read what these people said about me. I'm fine with that, but then I get my chance too, and so that's what I had a little bit of fun with this week. So my new Substack is coming out, and the title of it is "The Empire Strikes Back," and these people are the Kerry Hill campaign. They are the empire who are running our county commission, and they're running the Kerry Hill campaign. And I'm hoping you can still hear me.
We can. So that okay. I do want to recall what we reported last time, which was when this organization that's working through a private Facebook group was discovered. We knew it was called Forsyth HOA, and so forth. And when I went to look at it, I found the first time I was able to see it, and then within a couple of days, all of a sudden, I could no longer see it. So they took steps to, and I don't know if they just blocked me or blocked a number of people. We don't know that. You can't see that within Facebook. But they literally tried to hide themselves from me.
Oh, yeah.
And I found that quite offensive. And so to your point, isn't it funny now that we have an anonymous, what you refer to as an anonymous keyboard warrior, doesn't want their name known. They don't want their name on this. No. Do you suspect, and I know you probably can't and shouldn't perhaps guess who you think it is, but would you be surprised if it were somebody whose name would be known across the county?
It would not surprise me in the least. In fact, my theory is that given what I know about things here in the county, and my theory is this is probably a Forsyth County elected official who's doing this. I don't know that, but just imagine that's certainly one reason why Forsyth Homeowners would not want anyone to know who is running the keyboard under that name, because if it came out that there was a Forsyth County elected official that were running under a pseudonym on social media, that would not go over very well at all. So that's my theory.
It might run foul of certain Georgia guidelines, regulations. I'm not sure until we found out who and how. Yeah. Huh.
I don't know either. But, anytime someone's going to assume a fake name on social media, you're really taking your chance. I know they think that they're taking a chance by not putting, which makes them want to not put their name out there. They think that that's the chance. Well, if you're trying to build credibility among a community, but yet you refuse to put your name out in front of it, and you say outlandish things that are shown to be nothing but disinformation and lies and deceit, which is, I'm really good at pointing out what's deceitful when people, especially when they write things. It kind of makes you wonder why they don't just go ahead, bite the bullet, and tell us who you really are. But I do know this: they're allied with the Terry Hill Death Star campaign. I will say that.
And we have just so we don't miss it. This is one of the graphics from your article that will be released today. Yes. Up, do we lose you again, Hank?
Yeah, I think he's frozen.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
So there's one of the other graphics I think from your from your. Now the question is,
all right, well, I'm gonna have to go to my other location again in the future. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. We got you. We got you, Hank. If you can
hear me.
Yes.
Just go ahead, Bill.
Okay. So
I think
let's see.
done. I think he's done.
Hello.
There you go. Okay, we got you.
Crap.
We got you.
I think he got out most of what he was going to say. I think he got out what he was going to say. I think we should. Yeah.
All right. So, Hank, if you can't hear us, then let me. Yes. Yeah, we got you.
Hello.
Yep, we got you. So anyway, later today, if you go to Hank Sullivan Substack, yep, we got you, Hank. You'll see this latest post, and you'll be able to. Hank had mentioned before the show that he will provide not only what he is saying in response, but actually what was said about him, so you can actually make your own judgment about the truthfulness of what others are saying. It is astounding to see these folks fight tooth and nail to try to knock down Hank's campaign, clearly because some of the stuff he's bringing out, they don't want people to know.
So true. We've seen that pattern before.
We have. We just got through talking about this. You know, we're also working on another story that goes across Georgia in many counties, it appears. And it goes back to, again, one of these hidden things that I'm sure there are lots of people out there that don't expect that this will ever be discovered, yet it's been discovered. So we'll talk about that probably sometime in the next 2 or 3 shows, I'm guessing. Do we have you back yet, Hank?
I feel like I'm back. I don't know if you can see me or hear me.
We can see you. You're not moving much, but go ahead. If you have other comments to make, let's go ahead. Please continue.
Well, I just think it's funny. I have had a pretty good time with this week's Substack. Substack's coming out tonight at 6:30, and I liken what I'm dealing with what say the rebels were dealing with in Star Wars, and so that's the kind of theme that we're talking about here. But I apologize for the
no worries.
Here.
One of the things that I think is kind of cool is, comparing the person that doesn't want their name, they don't want their identity known, but they want to pretend to be this major fighter, cluing in the public on what Hank Sullivan's really about. Yet they don't want their own identity known. That kind of falls flat for me.
Well, people really ought to know that. I mean, I know that on this Facebook page and on their Substack, they've got several thousand people there. Well, come on, folks. Who are you dealing with over there? You don't even know who you're dealing with over there. They don't put their names out. So why would you trust what they say when you don't know who they are? That's what I can't understand. It doesn't seem plausible that people, even on social media today, are going to put too much stock in what is said anonymously about people. But I always, if I'm on social media, you know who I am. My face and my reputation are behind everything that I say and everything that I write.
Yeah. One of the things that we won't talk about it on today's show, but we'll be doing some additional reporting in the next 48 hours, we believe, on other matters that, again, have wrapped around Forsyth County and what appear to be some significant questions about how they're dealing or avoiding dealing, in some cases, with the public. And so we'll have more on that. That those are other individuals involved in that, and I know that that's outside your scope. What are there other actions coming up within your campaign or other places that people can go to learn what you are trying to do and to learn about your platform or learn how to help you if they choose to?
Well, I try to stay pretty active on putting out information, and a lot of the information I put out deals with something that's current, that's happening that week or recently happened, and I respond to it so that people can see what my thoughts are on it. I'll say this off a different subject. I've recently, can you see me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I've recently been contacted by people who are interested in the short-term rentals issue. And I'm interested in that as well, because I'm very interested in property rights. Property rights are protected under the United States Constitution. So I lean heavily towards protecting property rights. However, I want to say this. These people believe that this is part and parcel of a civil rights issue. They think there's a racial component to this. I've told them this is not anything that I'm going to be pursuing on a level of racial civil rights level. I'm going to pursue this, if I choose to, on merits of how I see this issue in practice affecting the constitutional rights of property owners. That's what I'm interested in. So anybody else that wants to contact me on that, understand I'm not going there. I don't believe it's true, and I'm not going there. Only thing I am interested in the issue, and I do believe that it's worth reconsidering again, because I don't know that that property owners are being treated fairly when they're not able to rent their property out for shorter periods than, say, a month. I'm not quite sure that that's really fair for them.
That is interesting.
I would agree with you because that's globally that the hotel business is coming after the property owners because it cuts into their revenue. It's special interest, right? It's a corporate interest is pushing all this.
Yeah. Yes, and they make political contributions.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
This whole year, beginning with what we saw from USAID, beginning with what we saw from Soros, beginning, very frankly, with what we saw coming in terms of funding going to organizations like Indivisible, which again has a foothold up, it appears, in Forsyth County. One of the people that sits on the election board in Forsyth County is apparently connected to Indivisible. Again, this organization getting outside funding that is obviously trying to harm America, harm our country. It keeps coming back to Forsyth. It keeps coming back to other counties. But isn't it funny? It's all coming to a head, it feels like, this year. 2 years ago, we wouldn't have known about the majority of this, but all of a sudden we see it, we can measure it, and we have tools to uncover it. So fascinating.
Yeah, there are some really powerful tools that are being leveraged against the ability of our government, and in particular Forsyth County government, to be able to conceal information from the taxpayers and the citizens. There's some very powerful tools coming online that are they're able to pierce the government veil to create mechanisms by which the dissemination of open records can be forced. And I'm looking forward to working with those who are of that ilk, that are trying to force government to do what it is legally required to do, and when records are requested.
Yeah. Hank, thank you so much for being with us today. I know your internet was struggling a little bit, but it's a pleasure to have you with us, and we'll look forward to hearing from you soon in getting another update on your campaign and what the heck the bad guys are trying to do.
All right. Well, I apologize for the interruptions. Won't happen again.
No worries. No worries. Thanks for being with us, my friend.
All right. See you
Thanks,
later.
Hank. So, Bill, I don't know if this guy's going to show. If he doesn't come in the next minute or so, then we'll just move on. But why don't we run an ad, and then when we come back, we'll make that call.
Sounds
so
great.
We're going to run another ad from one of our sponsors. Here we go. If you haven't noticed, gold has reached a new high, all-time highs actually, and keeps going up every day. Why is that? It's because precious metals are a long-time historical store of value. And if you own a portfolio and you have assets in the fiat currencies, i.e. stocks, bonds, cash, or whatever, you're vulnerable to hyperinflation, which is coming as our debt explodes another trillion every 90 days. It's really scary. So how do you protect yourself? Go to Advisor Metals. If you look on any of our cdm.press sites, about halfway down, there's an ad for Advisor Metals. Click on it, fill out the form for your contact info, and Ira Bishotsky will contact you and talk to you. It's an easy conversation. There's no sales pitch. He's completely verified by us. He has a regulatory background we've checked into. We've checked with his bankers. We've checked with his IRA custodians for metals, and we can highly recommend Advisor Metals and IRA. So go to Advisor Metals. If you call them directly, tell them we sent you at CDM, and he'll definitely take care of you. But protect your portfolio because you really need to. It's coming. Thank you. So, Bill, I've got Randy in the green room. I'm going to bring him in and let him tell his story. It's a Georgia, I guess, regional story that I think is important for the great state of Georgia. So here we go. Randy, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
So we got about 5 minutes. Tell us your story, and I have the pictures you sent as well. So tell us what's
I had done 2 shows. I'd done one show in Franklin, North Carolina, and then went to Spruce Pine, North Carolina. Came back, dropped some things off at one trailer, headed back home. Couldn't make it all the way home. Stayed in McDonough, Georgia. Pulled in at 8:57 p.m. and I showed up on the flock cameras coming in. The truck shows leaving at 12:02 a.m. but never shows it leaving on the flock cameras. And it was an F-350, a 2001, had no security on it, correct? And it had a 22-foot long trailer enclosed, and it had approximately about 250,000 or more bracelets in it, among keys, chains, and earrings. And
so this was your family business, right?
That's correct.
And let me just bring up some more of the videos you sent us. This is one of the shows you're doing. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's half of the tent. And the other half would also be included in that trailer.
And here's an example of some of the stuff that you're...
Right. And those are specialty bracelets. So the earrings and stuff, there are designed, which we have them made across seas, then shipped in.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like a regular crystal shop. We have specialty items.
So just to recap, you have a family business in Georgia, and
no, it's in Florida, Tampa, Florida. We rock rocks.
Okay, and so you were traveling through Georgia and spent the
Correct.
night, and your entire business was stolen. What was the response from law enforcement?
Every time I call them, I've called them now 14 days in a row. No return calls back. Why do you call? Nobody ever calls. I says, well, they have just their trucks and cars and trailers stolen, and you know, they get the insurance money. Well, I've settled for the trailer, but I've not settled on the truck. They're trying to give too low. I have bought another truck and trailer, so business is on as usual. And I had no insurance on the product because 4 years ago it was $1,800 a month to insure it because there was so much. So yeah. God only knows how much it would have been today.
And you have information that this has kind of been happening a lot in Georgia. Am I correct?
It happens a lot, and people just disappear. I mean, it's not like it's a small little truck or something.
Mm-hmm.
It just disappears off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. He says, oh, you might find it 2 or 3 years from now, not your stuff, but the truck and trailer, some farmer might have it. You know, they've given a lot of babies, or a landscaper has it and he has a legit trailer on there, but no tag on the truck. He finally gets pulled over. They run the VIN number and it turns up. So
you have a reward out for your property and
for the product.
tell us where people can go to see that. And here's your reward. But tell us about the reward and where people can contact you if they know anything about this.
Okay, my phone number is on the reward, and it's for the product. I don't care about the truck or the trailer. And it's my specialty items, and I've been sending me leads. They can go on there and put stolen crystal bracelets, Georgia, and I pop up everywhere. You can contact me through there.
Okay.
And
Well, Randy, I hope somebody contacts you. We wanted to get you on and let you tell your story. So thank you. We don't have a lot of time today, but I appreciate you.
No worries. Every minute counts, and I have many eyes out there, and I appreciate everybody and all the eyes.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So, Bill, do you have anything else?
No, not for, not for today.
Okay. So I want to just, I had a very emotionally positive experience at the Pentagon. First of all, we're part of the Pentagon press crew. I'm over there on the right. You can see me peering out behind between two people. But that is the new Pentagon press corps that we are a member of. We'll be spending a lot of time in Washington at the Pentagon reporting on military affairs. We're going to be traveling with some of the officials. So there's that. And but I had sometimes things take you back in your life. And I was sitting in the courtyard of the Pentagon, and we had the first tree lighting ceremony ever. And Pete Heggs has spoke, but just the Christmas carols in the beginning was really emotional for me. So I thought I'd play this. It's about 10 minutes. It's a few of the carols, and then Pete Heggs has speech, and we'll close out the show.
Merry Christmas, everybody. What a wonderful and special evening. Thank you all for joining us our family, almost all of our family. We're missing 3, but we'll have them for Christmas. And we want to thank all of your families as well for the support you give as warriors and civilians inside this department to the entire country in support of this mission. I see some kiddos here. Excellent. I hope all you kiddos know that your moms and dads are heroes who fight and work to support our country. So I keep them away from home a little bit more than I should. They work hard and they're heroes to support the country. I hope you get some hot chocolate, some cookies, and maybe a photo with Santa. I don't know. I can't promise. Haven't seen him, but we have a lot of radars. Heard he could be in the area. We are gathered to celebrate the blessing of Christmas season here at the Pentagon. And a couple of months ago, my wife said, "Babe, President Trump brought Merry Christmas back. We're going to bring Christmas back to the Pentagon." And that's what we're doing. We are going to light a new permanent Christmas tree, and this one is a beauty. A 14-foot Nellie Stevens holly from Chantilly, Virginia, local. They say when the tree was planted, there were bald eagles flying overhead. True story. Fitting for this building. It will grow to 30 feet tall and live for at least 50 years, a fitting tribute to the warrior ethos here. It replaced a small serviceberry tree that was slated for removal anyway, so it made sense. But we're here to remember the real reason for the season. It's easy to get caught up. It happens with our family all the time. The commercialism of the moment is a very real thing. The commercials come and the clicking goes, the lists grow. You get to the cards and the travel and the end of year business and you get wrapped up in it. But in this season of Advent, Christians are called to pause and reflect, to turn away from the things of the world and look upward toward the anticipation of the coming of our Savior, Jesus Christ. We remember and await the coming of our Lord, who was born of the Virgin Mary into the humblest of circumstances in the city of Bethlehem. The Savior who took on flesh and made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us in our salvation. That is the real reason for the season. So in this season, we worship, we reflect, we rest, and of course, with our families, we eventually feast. We prepare to spend time together, remember the ones that we love, and we remember the ones that are fighting to protect all of us, to bring peace on earth and goodwill toward men, except narco-terrorists. We want to ensure every family everywhere enjoys a peaceful Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That's our job. President Trump is bringing, on behalf of the American people, peace through strength. And you get that peace through strength. This is the strength department. Our job is to stand ready, stand tall, and be prepared. And that's what our men and women do around the globe every day. Jen and I had a chance to go out to an aircraft carrier and a destroyer over Thanksgiving and eat some Thanksgiving turkey with the troops. It was incredible. I couldn't think of a better way to spend Thanksgiving. And as someone who's spent 3 of those Thanksgiving, Christmas seasons away from family, it's a mixed feeling. Right? You love who you're with, the folks you're serving with. It's a sort of unique, special moment you're going to have a few times or once with these people. But you're also thinking about everybody back home. I mean, you're waiting for that to get a chance to make that phone call or send that message, and waiting for next year when you'll be with them, knowing that everyone's a few inches taller, the little ones, and you've missed a few memories, but you're doing it. This department does it for the rest of the country. And so we remember the reason for the season, Jesus Christ born in Bethlehem, but we also here, in a special way, in this city, in this courtyard, remember the men and women who do it for all of us. That's who we serve. I serve Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, and then we serve the men and women who serve us. We are servants, and this season we think about them, we pray for them, we remember them, and may this tree honor them as well. As they are apart from their families, we remember their sacrifice and their dedication, and that the ribbons and the bows and the presents and all the beautiful things under the tree are a wonderful earthly symbol of the way we love each other. but that Christ loved us so much to come in human form, in the form of the most humble possible way, to the Virgin Mary in the form of a baby in Nowhereville, Bethlehem, to fulfill the promise Christ made to save the world. And so we remember that here at the Pentagon. So join us in observing this Christmas season. It doesn't stop right here. We put together a series of Christmas events to include a Christmas worship service in a couple of weeks, where we'll have actually Franklin Graham is going to join us to give some remarks, and we'll worship as well. So we're doing up Christmas big here because we should. I mean, George Washington took bended knee because he understood he needed the help and assistance and wisdom of Providence. The task was too big, the threat too big, literally the British Empire, impossible to defeat. In the dead of winter, in the cold of night, of course, then not only did he pray, but he attacked on Christmas Eve. We have that kind of mentality here too. We're going to be on bended knee, appealing to Providence, but then always poised and ready to do the business of the American people. That is the unique spirit of Christmas at the Pentagon. And I want to thank you all for joining with us tonight, for kicking it off with the lighting of this tree. And we hope you enjoy some hot chocolate and some treats and some games and whatever other good stuff's around here. And maybe we'll see Santa Claus. I don't know. So God bless you all. God bless your families. Thank you for joining us. And in a moment, when that one passes, we're going to light the tree to kick off the Christmas season and a series of events that are coming with it. Thank you, babe. Thank you for making it happen.
Everybody here. Thanks for being here.
All right, kiddos, you ready? Should we count down and light the tree?
Yeah.
All right. All right, put your hands on it, Gwenny. Everybody else, get up there, Luke. All right, we're going to count down from 5. We'll get it right. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
Well, we'll end that right there, Bill, but I thought that was a good way to end the show and roll into the Christmas season.
I very much agree. That was wonderful and great to be able to share that with the audience.
That's all I've got. You got anything else?
Nope, that's it. We will see you again on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you for being here, and we will see you soon.